Hello everyone, welcome to Full Moon Movies. Carlito's Way, directed by Brian De Palma and released in 1993, is a towering example of how a gangster film can transcend genre conventions and become something deeply humane, tragic, and unforgettable. Starring Al Pacino as Carlito Briganti, a Puerto Rican ex-drug lord freshly released from prison, the film follows his desperate attempt to walk away from his past and start a new life. But the story isn't just about escape. It's about how hard it is to truly change in a world that won't let you. Unlike De Palma's earlier collaboration with Pacino's in Scarface, which was all about excess, ambition, and punishment, Carlito's Way is intimate, meditative, and rooted in regret. Pacino's portrayal of Carlito is masterful. You can feel his weariness, the ghost of who he was, and the flicker of hope trying to keep him upright. Carlito doesn't want to rise again. He just wants to survive long enough to escape with his girlfriend Gail and start over somewhere far away. Now, that arc from hardened survivor to hopeful lover to doomed tragic figure is what hooks the audience emotionally in this film. Unlike Tony Montana, Carlito is not killed in a blaze of defiance. He's gunned down as he reaches for redemption. His death is quiet, sad, and deeply unjust, and that's what makes it powerful. And that's why I like this movie a lot. Now, the key characters orbiting Carlitos add immense texture to this journey. Sean Penn's performance as Dave Clenfield portrays Carlito's sleazy, cooked-up lawyer in one of the best of his career. Clenfield starts off as a friend, a man who once helped Carlito beat the system, the famous court scenes. But slowly we see him unravel, dragging Carlito back into the shadows he was in fact trying to escape from. Penelope Ann Miller as Gail brings the tenderness and hope in this film. She's not a passive love interest. She demands Carlito to be honest and careful, and her dance studio becomes a symbol of the life Carlito is trying to build. But it's in the final scenes at Grand Central Station that the emotional weight lands the hardest. As Carlito runs through the station trying to escape the mob hitman, the editing, music, and cinematography all work in perfect harmony. It keeps the audience in the edge. They, in fact, is begging for his escape. Every moment is suspenseful, and yet somewhere deep down, we know the odds are paper thin. And then comes Benny Blanco, the Bronx, the man Carlito once spared earlier in the film. His return is shocking but not surprising. It was somewhat foreshadowed subtly, and his revenge feels inevitable. Carlito's mercy earlier wasn't weakness, it was growth. But in this world, even mercy has consequences. As Carlito collapses with a bullet wound, he looks at a billboard showing a tropical beach, which is his dream getaway with Gail. It's a gut punch. That image lingers. It tells us everything about a man tried and almost made it. There's another small but haunting performance worth highlighting, and that's Viggo Mortensen as Lalin. He is a former mob associate now paralyzed and living in a wheelchair. In just one scene, he delivers a portrayal that captures the abandonment, bitterness, and brokenness. You can feel the quiet pain in his eyes, the humiliation of being used by the police, and the betrayal by his own people. Lalin shows us what happens to men like Carlito when they are no longer useful. Now, his scene with Carlito adds a layer of quiet devastation to the film's overall theme. Circumstance, which is brutal force, and even those with loyal are disposable in the mob's world. Visually, the film is rich and atmospheric. Stephen Burham's cinematography is shadowy and slick, bathing New York in golden tones and dim club lights. The art direction places us squarely in the 70s without relying on caricature. Everything feels authentic, from the worn-out pool halls to the upscale nightclubs. Patrick Doyle's musical score weaves in melancholy and tension perfectly, never intruding but always accentuating Carlito's emotional state. De Palma's direction is at its most restrained and elegant here. He lets the story breathe, he lets characters speak, and he only explodes into kinetic energy when the story demands it, especially during the final chase sequence at the train station. Now let's discuss a bit about how did the film earned in the box office. Now the film didn't actually explode at the box office upon release, earning around 64 million on a 30 million budget. But over time, it has grown in reputation and now stands tall as one of the most emotionally resonant crime dramas ever made. For many, Carlito's Way has become a screenwriting template, a character-driven narrative that embraces classical structure, internal conflict, and a tragic arc that echoes Shakespeare more than Scorsese. Now, it's a film about what happens when a man truly tries to change, only to find out that change alone doesn't erase your past. Now, let's talk about the Arrow Video's 4K release of this movie. The restoration is exceptional, crisp detail, deep contrast, and faithful recreation of the film's visual tone. The HDR enhances the shadow-drenched cinematography beautifully. The DTS:X audio mix adds depth to the environment, from the softest dialogue to the chaos of shootouts. The collector's edition packaging is impressive too. A rigid box with a slipcover featuring Carlito's silhouette, a fold-up poster, art cards, and a 60-page booklet. Now that said, while the packaging is gorgeous, the booklet contents lean more toward discussing Brian De Palma's career rather than diving deep into Carlito's Ways itself. In contrast to Arrow Dark City release, which offered extensive analysis and retrospectives on themes and narratives, this one plays a bit safer. Still, the bonus features are rich. 2 audio commentaries, one from De Palma biographer Douglas Casey, multiple behind-the-scenes documents, location tours, and cast interviews. Now, these extras round out the package well, giving the fans insight into the production process and the film's evolution from source novel to screen. In conclusion, Carlito's Ways is more than a gangster film. It's a soulful, tragic, and beautifully crafted story of a man trying to outrun fate. Now, it reminds us that redemption is never guaranteed and that some battles are lost not because the will is weak, but because the world has already made its decision. The Arrow 4K edition only elevates this experience further, delivering the film in the best possible light, both technically and emotionally. If you're a fan of character-driven storytelling, this edition is a must-have for your collection. Now, this movie is a must-watch.